Here in part 3 we strip the main movement of the watch, starting on the dial side with removal of the two screws that retain the setting lever spring. You'll note, as mentioned previously, that the actual spring portion that bears onto the setting lever has broken away, and a replacement part has been ordered for this. The broken part was not evident anywhere inside the case, which indicates that this has been missing for some time. Next for removal is the yoke spring and the yoke. This is lifted away carefully using a finger or piece of pegwood over the spring to prevent it pinging away. And then the intermediate setting wheel, followed by the clutch and winding pinion. The setting lever isn't removed at this point because it's still attached by the screw on the top side of the movement. We then remove the minute wheel, followed by the cannon pinion, which here I'm removing using a pin vise. This is a useful little tip to ensure that you draw the cannon pinion straight up and away to prevent any bending or deformation of the centre wheel pivot. It's quite handy if you don't have a cannon pinion remover. I do usually use tweezers for that. And moving on to the top side of the movement, I undo the setting lever retaining screw, which then allows the setting lever to drop clear, as you can see there. And we begin to strip the movement, starting with the train bridge, which retains the fourth wheel and escape wheel and is secured by two screws. This is carefully lifted away to ensure that no damage is done to the pinions, bearing in mind, of course, that the fourth wheel bearing in mind, of course, that the fourth wheel pivot is an extended pivot. So additional care has to be taken when lifting the bridge clear of that one. The barrel bridge is removed in the same fashion. This is held by two screws likewise, and takes a bit of juggling and levering to get this clear, because in addition to clearing the barrel and the centre wheel and third wheel, it's also having to clear the two dial retaining screws. And there you'll note I had to remove one of the chronograph screws to get access to the barrel bridge screw. This is replaced after removal of the barrel bridge to ensure that it doesn't get lost. And there you can see the dial feet retaining screws, which stand proud of the base plate. And on the underside of the bridge you can see the crown wheel and the click. Here I'm replacing the chronograph screw that was removed to gain access to the bridge screw. And here is the setting lever screw. This is one of the dial feet retaining screws which I'm removing just to display that, so you can see what that looks like. And this is then refitted to the plate and left there for the cleaning. But you can see that has an extended head so that it reaches almost flush with the bridge. Here I'm removing the crown wheel, which is retained by 2 screws. And is a ring type with a large central spacer. The click is left in place. I tend to leave clicks with click springs in place, run them through the cleaner, and then disassemble them and lubricate them after cleaning. I do this unless the movement is very, very dirty, in which case I would remove everything possible in that case. And then here we remove the centre wheel, third wheel and fourth wheel. And with the fourth wheel removed, you can see a little better the extended pivot on both sides, because one side goes to the subdial seconds hand and then the top side goes to the gear that bears onto the chronograph runner, or onto the via the gearing system onto the chronograph runner. There's the balance cock and balance reinstalled, ready for this to go into the cleaning machine. And then with the barrel upended and the ratchet wheel removed, the barrel is disassembled as you normally would, removing the barrel arbor and allowing the mainspring to unwind. Apologies for going off screen there. And once the spring is fully removed from the barrel, you can see that it is quite badly set, which is a little more unusual for the white metal unbreakable mainsprings, but as you can see in this instance it does happen, and a good one should actually curve back upon itself. A brief update here. As you can see, that's the watch beating away, and I've not actually just skipped the whole rebuild. What I've done here is, after stripping everything, I ran the watch through the cleaning machine, just through a quick rough clean cycle, and reassembled just the watch components, because I wanted to see if it would run acceptably and if there were any problems with regards to any of the components, prior to contacting the owner to let them know that it's going to need a few parts, what parts they are, and roughly what they're going to cost, to see what he wants to do and as to whether he wants to go ahead. I've oiled the pivots and given it a full wind, and then put that on the time grapher, and it's giving a respectable 220, 230 degrees amplitude, which is quite remarkable given the terrible state of the mainspring. As you saw, it was quite badly set. The white metal ones should curve back on themselves, and as you saw in this case, that wasn't the case. So this one's been in a while and it's quite badly set. So a fresh new mainspring should see the amplitude bump up easily to the 280s, 290s or so. So yes, it's looking quite good in that respect, and so what I need to do now is just find out regarding the parts, because a couple of the parts I will need to order to find new old stock items, eBay and the like, and order them from there. And obviously I need to let him know and give him an idea while there are parts available online. Things like the mainspring and such I shall just order from Cousins or some supply house. So I'm quite pleased with that. It's running along merrily. I'm going to leave that overnight just ticking away and see how it looks in the morning, and then we'll see where we go from there.